guys, Phil here at Woods Tree Farm. Today we're going to do a little update on the weed control efforts that we've done here at the farm. And I'm going to give you a little snapshot into our fall planting, and stick around to the end because I got a surprise for you. If you're interested in Christmas tree farming and some of our planting and other things that we do around here related to the planting and growing of Christmas trees, stick around to the end. I got a little surprise for you. A couple weeks ago, I did a video where we used this Fimco 40-gallon sprayer for the first time, and I made a couple little modifications, really just one key modification, where I bypassed 2 of the 4 nozzles on the boom, and that let us set the sprayer out exactly at 8 feet so that we could spray right over top our Christmas trees. And we used a chemical called clethodim for the first time. Clethodim is a chemical that kills only grassy plants. It doesn't kill any broadleaf weeds, and it won't kill any shrubs or trees. So that chemical can be sprayed directly over top of Christmas trees in order to kill the grasses around the Christmas trees. So I'm going to give you a little update to show you what that chemical has done to our trees, and then I'll show you something that we have right here ready to use for when we do our fall planting. Before I get into this, shout out to David Danikin, who commented on a recent video. And David's been a frequent commenter on the channel over the last 2 years, and he's a Christmas tree grower in the Midwest, so he knows what he's doing, knows what he's talking about, and I respect his opinion and his comments. He called me out and said, how did the spraying go? I mentioned in the video where I used that 3-point sprayer for the first time that I'll give it an update and share how it goes, and I never did that. I commonly do that here on the channel. I do projects and I'll say, yeah, I'll update you on that soon, and then sometimes I forget. So anyway, thanks David for giving me the idea for this video and reminding me that I committed to you guys that I would share an update. So here we go. The same chemical that we sprayed over the Christmas trees, we sprayed here on our food plot. This is an area that we're trying to attract some deer, so there's some clover planted in here and some brassicas and turnips and that kind of thing. So this was kind of overtaken by grass. We just let it kind of go to seed this summer, and there was a lot of grass in here, so we cut it all back with a bush hog several weeks ago. There was a lot of clover that came back from the previous year, so we went over this plot with the sprayer to kill back the grasses, and I just wanted to show you. You can kind of see how green it is down in here. That's all the clover, and you can see kind of like the hillside over there where we didn't plant clover. That's what the grass would look like if we let it, that's what the unsprayed grass looks like. Anyway, so all in here where we sprayed, the grasses are at least stunted. I'll give you a close-up look here in a couple spots where you can kind of see where the grass, much of the grass is dead or dying, and the clover is coming up through that nice and healthy looking. Well, here's a nice up-close look. You can kind of see some grass, if I can kind of get it. Some grass over in here is still green. And I think what happened was, maybe the application of the clethodim just wasn't quite heavy enough. I did go over this plot in a crisscross pattern, and I thought I got everything pretty good, but some of it could have gotten missed. It's also just like really dense and really well established grass in here, and the packaging for that chemical actually says it might take multiple applications. But you can see there's a lot of dead grass in here, and the clover is coming up pretty strong through it. So all in all, I'm pretty pleased with how this worked here for this application. If I really wanted to control the grasses aggressively, I would come back over this with another application, but I think I'm just going to leave it for now. I think it's pretty good. Here are a couple of our new rows for planting for the fall. These were ripped a couple weeks ago. Maybe it was just 2 weeks ago. Stacy did all of that. We use the subsoiler attachment on the tractor to rip into the ground and soften up some of that clay that we know is under the topsoil. These rows were all sprayed with glyphosate as well to kill all of the plant life. So you can see up and down these rows, there's a pretty wide swath of dead material. And all of that will get tilled in. We're either going to do the tilling this weekend or next. And then in a couple weeks our trees will be in and we'll be able to plant. And now we can go over and take a look at some of the tree rows and see what's going on with the grasses here. You can kind of see how there's a little bit of a brown tint to these rows, but I wouldn't go so far as saying all of the grass is dead. But if you recall from the video where I applied the chemical, and I'll put a link to that video in the description so you can go back and look. Some of this grass was left really tall. I was curious to see how the chemical would work on short grass versus tall grass. And like I said, you can see that some of the grass in here is dead and some of it is not. And that's partially because the grass was so thick. So this all needs another application if we really want to aggressively cut back the grasses around the trees here. So I'll plan on doing that within the next week or so before it gets too cool. There are some other rows like this one where it doesn't look like the chemical had much of an effect at all. And what happened on some of these, I was actually kind of intentionally, though not super scientifically, I did go a little bit faster on a couple rows because I was also curious how that might impact the application rate. So a couple of these rows the chemical got applied a little bit lighter, and a couple of these rows the chemical got applied a little heavier, like some of those over there. So all in all, you can see that, you know, the chemical did have an impact. It did kill back a lot of the grasses. We need to do a little bit of mowing in a few spots here. And where there's clover, we've actually never intentionally planted clover in our tree field, but there is plenty of clover in some spots like here, and that chemical does not kill the clover. It also does not kill any other broadleaf weeds that are out here. So we have plenty of that going on in the field as well. So ultimately, if we want to control the grasses and weeds around our Christmas trees, it's going to require multiple applications of a couple different chemicals in order to do that. But I think if we want healthy trees and we want to cut back on the amount of mowing and care around our trees, then we're going to have to come up with a program, a weed control and grass control program that can effectively treat all of the different weeds and grasses that grow up around our trees. All right, so there you go. You got a pretty good look of the Christmas tree field behind me. These are all Norway spruces closest to me right now, and they're some of our biggest trees. And then down the other end of the field, we've got some Leyland cypress that have actually grown considerably this year. They're a fast-growing tree, so you would expect that. And then across the middle of our field, we've got the couple different kinds of firs, and they're the ones that are the smallest. So anyway, I'll probably come around these trees with the backpack sprayer with glyphosate for one final treatment this year, and then that'll be it for spraying this year. And then when we get into next season, we'll do more with the 3-point sprayer on the back of the tractor. So now let me show you what I've got hooked up to the tractor right now, which is going to be a game changer for us for planting this year. There it is. That is a 3-point transplanter. And the way that this works, we haven't actually tried this out yet. We haven't done anything with it yet other than hook it up to the tractor. We're borrowing this from some friends of ours. So we've only got it for this fall's planting. I'm sure if we coordinate with them, we can use it other times. But this will allow us to basically sit on here. The trees go up in these boxes. A human sits there and there. You could do one if you want to, but 2 people could sit and plant simultaneously. There's a shoe down there that will dig a little trough for the tree to go into. That shoe has a little spreader behind it that opens up the soil. The human that sits here will grab a tree, put it down in there, And then these wheels will drag behind and close up the soil on top of the tree. So we've never used anything like this. This will be a big learning experience for us, but it should increase the productivity for planting considerably. All right, so stay tuned for that. If you want to see that in action and you're not subscribed to our channel, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We will be planting, weather permitting, the last weekend of October, and that means I'll have the video out for that probably either the very end of October or early November. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. So that'll be the timeline for that. And now, between now, beginning of October, and when we plant, we only have a couple weekends left, so we've got to till the soil, we've got to make sure we've got our fertilizer ready and some of the other things ready for planting, and then we're also starting to think about setting up our tree lot for Christmas season, so we're going to have some videos of that. So if you like that kind of content, hit subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button. Appreciate that. And until next time, see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.